Theo Prodromitis, and I'm a marketing strategist. I help global entrepreneurs achieve their potential. Hello, everybody. It's Theo Prodromitis, and I'm excited to share with you today. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, how do you get covered in the newspaper or get public relations in digital media? And I'm going to share my secrets. I have an article on my website, but I'm going to bring it to life to you today and tell you a little bit about it. I've had some great success. And for those of you who can see above over here, there's a USA Today article, and here's a Tampa Bay Times. I've been covered in Business Insider, on the National Retail Federation podcast. So I've been great at promoting myself, and I want to share with you how you can do it too. I want your story to get out there. Number one, the secret number one is that journalists and bloggers, they need you. It's a 24/7 news cycle. Think about that. They're looking constantly for newsworthy, interesting, and valid things to cover. So they really need you. So put yourself in that mindset. Instead of thinking that you want something from them, think about the fact that you have something to offer to them. And especially as we talk a little bit further about who those journalists might be, that they might cover that specific beat or actually have that audience. In this day and age, it's all about creating value and being newsworthy. So number one is that journalists and bloggers need you. They need to cultivate a relationship with you, and you can be a go-to over and over again. That's how I started and continued. Fortunately, I started back in 1999 with developing relationships. That makes me sound really old, but I was very young back then and started and maintained my journalist relationships with my very own media list. That's number one. Number two, what this means is, for an action plan, is list the publications and resources that you see and read, and make a target list of 30 to 50 journalists that speak to your target audience, and make sure they're from a mix of local, regional, and national trade organizations, print publications, etc. So they do need you, and you're going to want to have a specific target audience. But I think sometimes we overlook some of the targeted, like, trade organizations, that you can really be newsworthy and build relationships there. If you are a member of your trade organization, that's great. And if not, go ahead and build your visibility and PR by commenting, liking, and building the relationship with the people at that. The trade organization would be like the Florida Retail Association, the National Retail Association, restaurant industry, or it could be an affinity group like the Working Women of Tampa Bay, National Association of Women Business Owners. Those type of organizations are a great way to start your public relations campaign and to build up being newsworthy. Because if you can get noticed by them and start communicating what makes you different and makes you newsworthy, you're going to build on that. Your media list of 30 to 50 journalists can be a wish list, and you're going to be already probably listening to and reading some of their publications. I'll give you an insider tip that a lot of the top reporters, and this is from years of experience, are on Twitter. For some reason, they do a lot of their work on Twitter, and you can actually, one of the great features of that is, unlike LinkedIn, where you have to have a premium account to contact somebody you don't know, you can direct message them on Twitter. And so if you follow a certain journalist and have something newsworthy, make sure you use it sparingly, because you want them to have a great opinion of you. But it is a little tip and secret. Join Twitter, start following and seeing what the reporters are reporting. And not only that, in building those relationships is to actually read their articles and comment on them, and maybe even take a line from it and say, I really agree with this line, because they really appreciate when you're genuine, and you can share with them. When you direct message them, they're going to have in their mind that they've seen you, that you've liked or commented genuinely on their posts. Number two, you can be newsworthy with a little help. Fact, product launch or a new business alone is not newsworthy. This shocks some people. They just want to do it because they think it's new for them. So they think, great, let's do a press release. One of the things that you can do is really dig deeper. The key to public relations is being really relevant, newsworthy, and solving a problem. Because the journalists are out there not as a marketing arm to promote your product or business, even though it's newsworthy to you. Find something that is an angle, as the journalists say, that they might be interested in and test it out by trying and dropping the hint. So say, for instance, if you have, this wonderful friend of mine has a catering company, Livio's Catering, and she specializes in home-cooked meals. So recreating that home-cooked feeling, but having it catered. And so she can cater either a week or if somebody has a baby. And so she's solving problems. Not only is she an amazing, the food is extraordinary, but the angle is that during this time of the pandemic, when people are so busy and they're doing more takeout than they are going out, and they're still maybe juggling everything with the kids at home, and they might need that as a solution. So that's newsworthy. That's a little bit different than just trying to promote your product in a marketing sense. And the journalists are savvy, so make sure you dig deep for the value and the solution that you provide to something that a lot of people might be going through. And ask yourself and others close to you the difficult question, who will care? This is a hard one, but it's part of what my experience is. You know what? It's reality in marketing. If you have a new product or a new business, and you ask your friends and family who will care, it's really not to be rude. It's really just to say, let's dig deep and find the people that will actually care. So in the example of Livio's Catering, the people who will care are the busy family members that have too much to do, or a new mom, or if you wanted to gift it for somebody who just had a baby and is trying to balance everything. So that's who will care. And it's a great way to get yourself some press. So you've started on your journey, you've taken it into your own hands. You don't wait for a journalist to reach out to you. Become newsworthy and always be looking for your connection to the community and the problems that you solve, because all of you do. No matter what you're doing, you are, if you're in a solid business and you're looking to expand, be newsworthy. So the next point is to find a great press release template. I have one. If you want to message me, if you don't currently have one, and use it as a standard, and have one always in the works. Even when I do new product launch consulting, one of the keys that I suggest is to write a press release to really vet out if it is newsworthy, if it's something interesting. So get a great press release template. They're simple, follow it, and have them ready to go. And the critical part about PR is that with your press release, there's many different things that you can do with it. A lot of people are reticent to use that because they're not sure how the process works. Trust me, when you have professional information, you are newsworthy, and you're providing something valid, and you can have professionals help you either write it or edit it, make sure that it is edited well, and then you can put it out there. You can do several different things. One of the things in PR is you can send it directly to the journalist you're building relationships with, and you can email it to them. You can find their information on, most of their articles will have a direct link to what their email, they really want to be contacted. So as long as you are relevant and you don't bombard them with it, send the press release directly to your media list. The other thing you can do is use a distribution company, very cost effective, a couple of $100, e-releases, PR Newswire, Cision. There's nothing in it for me to promote one over the other. They're great. They can get you in front of targeted journalists, and I highly recommend that. Okay, use a release service, do it yourself. And third will be to actually just use it and distribute it internally and to your email list. There's nothing better than having a press release to announce something instead of a marketing piece or something asking for business, what you're doing is you're just telling the world, here I am, and this is what's happening in our business. And make sure that you share the link on social media, as well as make sure it's a permanent fixture on your website. You want people to be able to find that there is something new. And I would say at the very minimum, do it quarterly, okay? Depending on how many great things you're introducing or what's new, if you've hired somebody, and get it out there. So as far as the critical secrets to public relations and getting noticed, these are some of the keys that I've used over the course of the years to get me noticed. It's worked, and I continue to evolve and really challenge myself all the time because it's about relationships. Remember, the journalists need you. It's a 24/7 news cycle. And if you've got something exciting, make sure you marry it, the value, with what is relevant that's going on in the marketplace, and help them. And then the ultimate goal is to be a source or source file that they can come to you when they're writing articles or when somebody else is in a particular area. In the case of Lenice, that it is catering, and she's an expert in that, food safety, food handling, catering, and she is known for that. And so they'll go to her, and multiple channels. Once you have some credibility as a public relations source or an expert in an area, it does grow, and you will be asked then maybe that you started with newspaper, but then they find you, and then maybe you're going to be asked to be on a segment of a television station, or you want to send a little clip of yourself and make sure that it's relevant and that you are well spoken, and say, hi, it's Theo. I just wanted to tell you that I am introducing a new version of the at-home catering specifically for the moms dealing with the fear of COVID. And here we are, here's our safety measures. And if you have any coverage that you're doing on that, I'd love to be a guest. That's all. Tell your story, don't be afraid, make it professional, get it out there, use the resources available, and go to my website if you want to reference this article. Connect with Theo is the website. And I thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on my next video.